Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, Easter edition. Happy Sunday, happy Easter for those who celebrate. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. It was a beautiful Saturday, not just because of the card show. Oh, it's terrible coffee. My coffee maker is slower than me after a 12 pack of beer. This coffee is not good. I need a new coffee maker, but I'm stubborn. I need a new computer too. It's slow. I'm slow. I went out with a buddy last night, had a couple Bud Lights. Coffee maker's slow. It's a lazy Sunday. Nobody wants to work this morning. Me, my computer, my coffee maker. I guess all is right in the world, right? We had a beautiful day. It was one of those typical Midwest days where you wake up in the morning and it's deceptively nice outside. From the inside, when you look out the window, ooh, the birds are chirping, the sun is shining. I'm gonna wear some short pants today. So I wore my shorts. I wore my Cubs it was the giveaway light. It's a hoodie, but it's a very light. It's nice and airy. It's a good spring hoodie. Toss that on and opened the garage to load in the last of the bargain boxes for the Rockford card show yesterday. Holy shit, it's cold. Like, what? That looks so nice. It's like 38 degrees. Here I am in short pants. So, but it warmed up nicely. And what was great was it's cold. My God, it's cold. And after the show, I get into my car. Frick, it's hot. The sun's beating down, but it felt so good. Oh, it felt so good. 65 never felt so good. 65 hasn't felt this great since I was in Arizona watching baseball. It was a nice day, and I think we're in for some more good weather the rest of the week. I'm going to review the card show. And I also thought about how I did in sales and how I communicate that with the promoters, other dealers, because it was okay. And that's like the most annoying response. But everybody says it. Every dealer said, it was okay. It was okay. What does okay mean? So I got to thinking what okay meant for me. I thought about that on the drive home. Those are the things that I think about as I wind down from a card show. What else is going on? We did some grilling on Friday night. I grilled up some brats. When I went home last weekend to my mom's house, we grilled out burgers. And I just wasn't in a burger mood. This is Friday night. I wasn't in a burger mood. So I went to the store. My wife was hammered with work. So I'm like, I'll run to the store and get some stuff. So I got brats. So I had a brat. And my wife made a burger. She makes her burgers are fake. Like, she doesn't make a real burger. Like, a real burger is just a frickin' half-pound, three-quarter-pound piece of meat. Just a little seasoning. I only like pepper. And then I'll sauce it up with either ketchup and mustard or barbecue sauce. I'm a big fan. But she puts like ketchup and panko and barbecue. Like, it's a frickin' meatloaf. It's not a real burger. So we did that Friday night. What else is going on? Went out with a buddy last night, texting back and forth. I got home and poured a Bud Light, my post-card show Bud Light. Like, tasty. My buddy's like, my wife ditched me for, I think she ditched him for the kids. He wanted to go watch hockey. The championship hockey game, college hockey game was on last night. And so he's like, my wife won't come with me. He's like, do you want to hit up the bar, watch the hockey game? I don't like hockey. I don't know anything about hockey. It's like, I just wanted I told my wife, I'm like, "Hey, I'm going out with Mark." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Like, "Wait, you said that a little too excitedly." There's probably something on Netflix she wanted to watch. So we went to like the Townie Bar in Middleton. They had the Brewer game on, Brewers and Cardinals. So we disagree on our hatred for other National League Central teams. So the Cardinals were up 6-0. And I'm like, oh, and I said something like, I'm actually rooting for the Brewers. And my buddy's like, dude, no way in hell. Like, I hate the Brewers. I can't root for the Brewers. And I'm like, what? They're playing the Cardinals. He's like, no. He's like, my hatred for the Brewers runs deeper than my hatred for the Cardinals. And I'm like, that's whack. Like, there's a lot of teams I would root for, or I hate more than the Brewers. Cardinals, number one. Cardinals, number one. And hatred. So I think the Cardinals won. But the Cardinals are in last place right now in the National League Central. By the way, if the playoffs started today with 155 games still left, the playoffs started today, the Cubs would have the second wild card spot. So watch. Oh, and then the hockey game came on. Or I think it was like the 7th inning, and my buddy knows the bartender and like, hey, can you switch over to the hockey game? Is anybody watching the Brewer game? It was a good game. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to most of it, but the end, it was is it Quinnipiac or Quinnipiac? Quinnipiac is your national or NCAA college hockey champions. They beat Minnesota. Yeah, because we were anti-Gophers. I'm like, I'm rooting for Quinnipiac just because if you're in Wisconsin, you don't like Minnesota. So I just kind of play along. And but I'm not like the Gophers. Quinnipiac is a fun word to say. So I was rooting for Quinnipiac. And they were down like 2-0, and then they scored a goal. So it was 2-1. And then with like under 2 minutes, I think, they tied it up. So it went into overtime. And out of overtime, it took like 6 seconds. Quinnipiac, right after the face-off, boom, goal. Goal! I could have kept going. Quinnipiac or Quinnipiac, the Q school, wins 3-2. What's going on in the chat? Happy Easter. Todd, what's happening? Rich says join the Facebook group. Yes, join the Facebook group. We are closing in on 150 members. Uncle Rich also said you should share the link in the Facebook group. So I did that today. I'll have to remember to keep doing that. So here's the link to the Facebook group. We're at 147 members in the Facebook group. So we've got some discussion. Cooter, I think, just posted. Cooter showed off some of his card show pickups from yesterday. John Keating posted drums. We've got quite a lot of questions. We're sharing our eBay stores. We've got questions about what's that? Packing slips. By the way, I don't do packing slips. We've got our scanner talk. We've got a lot of just great discussion going on. Check out the Facebook group. Link now in the chat. It's also in the description to the video. We've got Sal Dougie, Brewer fan Sal Dougie in the house. What's happening? Brian Dean, good morning. Johnny Boy Cards is here. Happy Easter, Jenny. Bronco Baseball Card Illustrated in the house. How was the Rockford card show yesterday? Bronco was in Stevens Point, and the show was pretty good. Video coming later this morning. Excellent. I'm going to share my thoughts on yesterday's Rockford card show. Cooter's in the house. Happy Easter. Donald, happy Easter to you. Good morning. Hall of Fame card collector. We've got Terry A. Hall of Fame card collector. Tell her that I think that's in reference to the meatloaf burgers. She knows my dislike of the meatloaf burgers. Quinnipiac. Okay, it is Quinnipiac. Such a fun. See, it wasn't. I don't know if the volume was up at the bar. I wasn't paying attention. Bell Ring of Cards. Bud Light. Boo. No, I love Bud Light. Nothing happened to me. I drank Bud Light last night. Guess what? Nothing happened to me. Nothing. It tastes the same as it did a few weeks ago. I know there's a lot of people are angry at Bud Light because they support something that you may not support. Guess what? I hate the people that run Chick-fil-A. Hate them. Hate their beliefs. But guess what? I eat their damn chicken because it's freaking good. I drink Bud Light. It's freaking good. At least I think it is. So I don't give a shit what companies support and don't support to an extent. But that's my thought. Jason. I saw Jason yesterday. What's happening? He says, I love college hockey. Go UMass. And last night was such an exciting finish. It was, man. I mean, it got me excited. I was into the game, and I don't even like hockey. But that's what happens. My buddy was a diehard, well, still is a diehard Black. He is not one of the bandwagoner 2008 bandwagon Blackhawks fans. He knows his audience though. So he knows that I don't give a damn about hockey. But he's a very passionate Chicago sports fan and still loves the Blackhawks. But when the Blackhawks were really good, I kind of jumped on that bandwagon for a little bit. Now I wasn't oh, it's hockey Tom Kaner. I wasn't like that. But I'd turn it on during the playoffs. I wasn't watching regular season hockey, but during the playoffs, it is it's an elevated level of play. It is more exciting. But I still don't like hockey. So Rich says, I'm Jewish and have the same feelings about the ownership of Chick-fil-A, but they have the best damn customer service you will ever see in a fast food place. Yeah. I'm not eating their chicken because of their beliefs. I'm eating their chicken because it's just so good. Oh. John says, episode 850. If this were tops total, then this episode would still be considered low number. Hey, I love my tops total. John says In-N-Out has the best customer service. I don't know In-N-Out. I think I've been to In-N-Out once. I think when I went to my very first spring training, which was only a few years ago, 2020, right before the pandemic. And In-N-Out does it 7 days a week. Yeah, that's the one thing that really pisses me off about well, I mean, their beliefs piss me off too, but not being open on Sunday. How many times have you wanted some Chick-fil-A and you realize shit, it's Sunday? There's been multiple times I've pulled into the Chick-fil-A drive-through and it's Sunday. Mother effers. So I went to In-N-Out once. It was okay. Fast food, there's not a great fast food. It's all kind of the same. There's bad fast food, but there's just, to me, especially the burger joints, people rave about Five Guys and Red Robin and In-N-Out and what are the other West Coast? There's Jack in the Box and all that. I don't think Jack in the Box is up there, but I'm just not I'm not overwhelmed by In-N-Out was it was okay. It was okay. It was a good burger. It was okay. In-N-Out does not compare to Chick-fil-A. I agree. In-N-Out is much better. Not every franchise can be Happy Joe's. Happy Joe's, home of the taco pizza. Although I prefer Casey's taco pizza to Happy Joe's. I'm not a big Happy Joe's guy either. I was Team Pizza Hut growing up. Actually, Team Casey's. I think I probably preferred Pizza Hut over Casey's growing up. Now I prefer Casey's over Pizza Hut. But I think that was because there was nothing better than reading a book and getting a personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut with their freaking garlic cheese bread. Oh my God. Oh. I respect them for being closed. Remember when we were kids, everything was closed on Sundays, which sucked. It sucks when things are closed on Sundays. Freaking open 7 days a week, damn it. Yeah, I remember my local IGA was closed on Sundays up until Probably like it was like a big deal when our local IGA went half days on Sunday. And it's like the most annoying. And Sundays might have been the best day of business at our small town grocery store. The after church crowd, man, you get the morning rush at 7 a.m. when we opened. People coming in, getting their donuts. We also had a bakery that was attached at that time. People coming in for their newspapers, donuts and newspapers, man. And then you get like the church, the Catholic Church let out at, I think there was 2 services. So like there's the 9 o'clock rush, the 10 o'clock rush. Methodist Church got out that rush. So I think our Sunday was a great day of business for our local grocery store. Pizza Hut didn't have ice cream. You know, here's the thing. I'm not a big dessert guy. I am not a big sweets guy. Like when we like Passover we had our Passover dinner on Thursday night. And so my mother-in-law and my wife love chocolate. And they make this molten chocolate lava cake or whatever it's called. And it's really good, but it's rich, man. It is. It's whew. But I'd rather like just give me a beer. Just give me another beer and I'm good. Like I don't need sweets. I prefer pie to cake. I prefer like if it is cake, like I'll shave the frosting off. Like just give me the cake. I don't want the frosting. Unless it's like the whipped cream frosting or like the Jello cakes. Oh, those are freaking good. Those are the cakes I like, but rich chocolate. Ugh, can't do it. Can't do it. Although ice cream is like I do like ice cream. I don't like chocolate ice cream. I like my go-to, like ice cream wise, like in the summer, every once in a while we'll get this, like my wife will be like, you want to get Dairy Queen? And I'm like, yes. My go-to at Dairy Queen is like a banana shake. I think that runs in my family. My dad was, and I've shared like how he always, I want a banana shake. He was very seductive with his banana shakes. So I like banana shakes from Dairy Queen. We had, what did we get? We made a run. And my wife does not eat fast food, like never eats fast food. Like, and I can say, like, I mean, it's not never, but it's like super duper rare. Like, I don't know. And do you count like Jimmy John's as fast? I don't really count Jimmy John's. I guess if I count Subway, I have to count Jimmy John's. So she'll do like Jimmy John's. Panera, I guess, is kind of fast food. It's sort of fast food. But she doesn't do like, she hates McDonald's. I don't think she's ever had McDonald's in the 9 years we've been together. McDonald's, like none of that stuff. She doesn't like burgers. Remember, she does meatloaf burgers. But like a few weeks ago, she's like, do you want to get, I went to we had something delivered at our new house. So I had to run over and put it in the garage. And she sends me a text and she's like, hey, I'll order Culver's. Do you want to go pick it up? And I'm like, wait, who is this? So I ordered, what did I order? Well, shit, it might've been a banana, might've been banana something from Culver's, the Butterburger. Culver's, good fast food. Is it great? Yeah, it's great. But is it superior to other burger joints in the fast food realm? No, it's good. It's okay. It's good. In-N-Out. It's good. Better than McDonald's. It's better than Burger King, though. That's a pretty damn good burger. But is it better than Culver's or In-N-Out or Five Guys? No, I think it's all the same. Jenny says the only exception in my eyes is if a company is doing something extreme like child labor. Yeah, that really does. God, I'm going to hell. You know, didn't Nike get in trouble for that? And I still wear Nike. Crap. John says, I agree. Closing on Sundays is a douche move. There's 7 days in a week. Use them all. Let's see. Bell Ringa says would have to go to Lawson's and pay double for everything. Yeah, that's like our local IGA. Like, well, it sucks. Like in my local IGA actually just closed. Like it'd been in business. My hometown of Anawan had a local grocery store, small town grocery store since like the 1930s. Well, from this family, I think we had a local grocery store going back to like when the town was whenever they created grocery stores. But this family ran a local grocery store dating back to the 1930s, and there were like my town of like 800 had a couple grocery stores at one time, like back in the 40s and 50s. But they now my town doesn't have a grocery store, and it's like people are starting to feel. And I remember growing up, and this was like growing up, this was before Amazon. You'd order something on Amazon, get it the next day. We didn't have the internet. And it was like if Anawan lost its grocery store, like, oh my God, it would be the end of times. Now it's like, yeah, driving 10 miles to get a loaf of bread, or if you ran out of something, like, yeah, it's annoying. But I think like here where I am, like I have to drive, and this is like the weird, like when I think about things, like growing up in a small town, especially a small town that's like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-sustaining almost, where like within a 3-block you have a gas station, a grocery store, a bar, a restaurant, like a library, a post office, a fire station. Like you have everything in like this small 2-block radius. And so like, and I grew up just down the street, literally just down the 2 blocks away. Is it 2 blocks? I was at the end of this block. So there's 1, 2, literally 2 blocks away, and boom, you're at the IGA. So you walk 2 blocks away. Now where I'm at, it's like, oh yeah, our neighborhood, super convenient location. It's only 5 minutes to the grocery store, and of course, we have a lot more than just an IGA, a post office, and a bar and a restaurant. But it's like, this would be the equivalent, like going from my house, like driving to the next town over, like 5 miles. And it's like, wow. And it's like, if I drive to, like if I went to like the next closest grocery store, that would be like going to the closest city with street stoplights. And it's like, but I don't think of that here. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just running to Hy-Vee. It's just down the road, 15 minutes. And it's like, but like back in Anawan, it's like, oh my God, I have to drive all the way to Kewanee. I have to go all the way over to Geneseo to go to the grocery store. And now it's like, it's nothing here or in any like larger city. Ooh, oh, that's bad coffee. Ugh. That was like, I didn't stir the creamer in. The creamer was sitting at the bottom and it's cold with like nasty coffee on top. Ugh. Cooter says, John, you need to come visit so I can take you to get a decent burger. In-N-Out, ain't it? You know, the best burgers are not like, the best burgers are like the greasy spoons. Like my hometown, the cafe, like the small town cafe where all the farmers go drink their coffee in the morning. They have a freaking great burger. It's a big old juicy ass fat burger. That's the best kind. Terry says, my mom took me to Happy Joe's for my 16th birthday. It was embarrassing when she told them it was my birthday and they started singing to me. 16 that's a tough year to be sung happy birthday. I hate it to this day when people sing happy birthday, and it not even to me. I hate going to like our friend's little kid's birthday party. Happy birthday, little Johnny. It's like, oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I hate the happy birthday song. Some of those employees were classmates. Terry appears to have lived everyone's worst nightmare. That is like, that would at age 16, that's brutal, man. Turkey Cards is hungry. I am too. I haven't had my breakfast yet. Joey, what's happening? Talking myself into buying a Fujitsu 8170. Does the scanner do well with refractors, numbered parallels, and autos? Any recommendations on where to purchase? Yes. To the final question. To the first question, does the scanner do well with refractors, numbered parallels, and autos? So it does. So it does, as long as it's a little trickier with Chrome. It will scan, but sometimes if you have them in bulk, it's good. But if you're just scanning a few cards here and there, I would say it's easier on your phone. Like if I pulled like a $20 or $30 refractor, I would just scan it, or I would just take a photo with my phone. Like parallels and autos, like yeah, it scans them perfectly. The one thing that part of the process that I use that it's tricky with parallels and autos is the Car Dealer Pro AI. The AI, any AI, and it's not just Car Dealer Pro. It's not just what else is out there. Center Stage. There's some others. The AI is just not going to catch some of that stuff. So it's more of a Car Dealer Pro, just an AI issue as opposed to the scanner. But you can scan Chrome, and I scan Chrome, and it works okay. Sometimes it's better than others, but it does work. Let's see. John says if Chick-fil-A were open on Sundays, then they could stop overcharging the other 6 days of the week. Yeah, there you go. The new look of the McDonald's stores has been a horrible miss. They look like square turds with windows. I guess I haven't noticed. I have not noticed. One of the McDonald's that's in Middleton, which is my former office before we moved offices was right across the street from the McDonald's in Middleton, which sometimes is featured on like the unique. Sometimes you'll see like articles like the most unique McDonald's in the United States. And the Middleton one is designed after like the 50s. It's kind of has like a 50s retro feel to it, look to it. Although I think they did. These are things that I just don't pay attention to. They may, because they did a lot of renovations, so they might have changed it to look like everything else. Let's see, Ed, what's happening? Happy Easter to you. John says Walmarts and Targets have edged out rural grocery stores. Yeah, that was the thing that when I worked at the IGA in high school in the 90s, that was like our biggest fear was the Walmart Supercenter that opened up in Kewanee in the early to mid 90s when supercenters were starting to pop up everywhere and carrying groceries. That was our biggest competition, and it probably to this day that was local grocery stores' biggest competition. But throw in the internet and Amazon getting your stuff within a day, that I think just ultimately was the finish him, the final blow. Let's see. Jenny says, where I am, we have 10 quick trips pop up in every city. What about y'all? That has your basic groceries. So we're starting to have quick trips pop up here in Madison because they bought out. Madison was kind of like Madison was weird. I read like an article when Quick Trip bought out PDQ. PDQ was like the main gas station in Madison, and Quick Trips were kind of on the outlying areas of Madison. But Quick Trip then bought PDQ, so they just changed all of the PDQs into Quick Trips. So just down the street, so I'm off Mineral Point Road. Now I have a Quick Trip just down the street because it's like out in the country kind of. But if you go the other way into Madison, there were PDQs like right across the street from each other, and now they're both Quick Trips, and all of the other PDQs have become Quick Trips also. And then, so here in Wisconsin, it's Quick Trip is like the main chain gas station. And then as you get like probably more south, closer to Illinois, then it's Casey's. Let's see. Kyle, what's happening? Good morning to you. He's going to catch it on replay. Red Light 34, what's happening? I also owe you a link, don't I? Let's just do that right now. I'm going to go find, Red Light was looking for, what were you looking for? Were you looking for the insurance link? Yes. So, by the way, and I'll just we want this link. So, by the way, there was some standard envelope conversation on Twitter yesterday. That's the link that I just popped into the chat, and I'm also going to just DM you that link also. And now you have it. Perfect. Let's see where we at. Hall of Fame card collector says, I hate the birthday song because of my autism. It is embarrassing. That's basically kind of how I feel. Even if it's not me as the person that's getting sung to, it's just there's something about it that I don't like it. My nephew was the same way, and like it was like to another level. Like it was like, and I like kind of held within my uncomfortability. Is that a word? Uncomfortability. But he would like run out of the room, and he did not like it. TD Sports Cards, what's happening? Good morning. John says 2023 Topps Big League hobby boxes, $50 on Fanatics, $49.99. And hey, by the way, and I know John's a big proponent, Costco Fanatics gift cards. If you're a Costco member, get the Fanatics gift cards. I think, what are they, John? $40 for a $50 gift card. So do that. My buddy Ryan messaged me that our local Target, I'd asked him on Friday. I went to Walmart Friday. I wasn't live yesterday. So I made a Walmart run because I was looking for Stadium Club Chrome and Topps Big League. I struck out on those two, but they had the rep was stocking the Walmart I was at on Friday afternoon. And there was a bunch of Prism football. And I'm not a big football fan, but Prism's hot. So I bought 4 blasters. I did also, by the way, I bought a box of archives. So for Name That Player, we'll do Topps Archives. Thank you, Bronco, for that idea. Bronco on one of his videos did a Topps Archives with East Coast Tom and Michael. Did a battle on the Topps Archives. So we'll do Name That Player with Topps Archives next week. And then I still have 2 of the blasters sealed. I think I might just save them for a rainy day. My first blaster box of Prism football was just brutal. And the second blaster box was a little better. There was a Brock Purdy base rookie, which sell for about $20. Of course, they're $35 blasters. So I felt dirty after opening those 2 blasters. And now it's like, I'm just going to leave these and I'll wait till football season. So I asked Ryan, I'm like, cause I know he makes the rounds, and I'm like, hey, did you see any Big League or Stadium Club? And he's like, nope. But then yesterday he went to a Target and showed me, he's like, hey, Topps Big League. So I did not stop and buy any, but maybe this week. But I'm also buying, which I'm going to get into. We're going to talk Rockford Card Show. Having a little conversation with my buddy James. And I'm like, I'm going to reach out and see if I can get some Bowman Draft paper base from one of my buddies. And I am. Joey says, recommendation on where to purchase in scouting looks like Amazon and the cheapest. Before you buy, I've got an email address. I want you to email Don Caruso. Tell him I sent you, and you can get a discount on the 8170. I've got to find his email address. I think it's going to be, if I go to my email, let's see. So it's Don Caruso at Fujitsu. Don may be watching this later. Shout out Don. He's awesome. Let's see. Don Caruso. There we go. Speaking of, Don's actually the one who turned me on to the Collects guys in Car Dealer Pro. I will be at, so email Don Caruso regarding 8170. Let's do 8170. And that's his email address. So speaking of Collects, I will be in Dallas in just in about a month. May 6th, is it May 6th and 7th, May 5th and 6th? I'll be at Collecticon, and I'll be on a panel at Collecticon with Collects And I think there's a couple other guests. We're going to talk about using technology to grow your business. So I'll share some more details as those come in, but I'll be in Dallas next month, early first weekend in May. Let's see, where we at? Let's see. Red Lights back from vacation. Hope it was awesome. Brian says, I'm going to date myself. Best Burgers, A&W, Mama, Papa, Mama, Baby Burgers, and Kings. Also best fries. So A&W, big fan of the A&W. I think that's just from my childhood and root beer floats. My grandma was the queen of root beer floats. Now, I only say that because that's the only place I ever had them as like a 4-year-old. So my grandma was my neighbor as a little kid, and she would make me root beer floats. So I had like an affinity for A&W growing up. And there's not too many around anymore. Every once in a while I see them. I've never heard of Papa Mama Baby Burgers and Kings. Huck Sports Cards, what's happening? When you sell $2 to $5 cards on eBay, do you use eBay tracking or just put a stamp on it? I use the eBay tracking, the standard envelope. It's actually cheaper than a stamp, by the way. And I had somebody, I think, reach out to me on Instagram regarding that. So not only is it cheaper than a stamp, unless you buy, like you can buy stamps. So here's like my conundrum. And I'm still on the fence on doing old stamps at a discounted rate or keeping with the standard envelope. Because if you just go to the post office and buy stamps, you're spending 3 cents more per stamp and you don't get tracking. Now with tracking, people say, well, the tracking sucks on standard envelope. Yes, but you get the insurance through standard envelope. Now that's only for standard envelopes. That's not for bubble mailers. So you have like some insurance, and the process is pretty easy on the standard envelope. They did give me the runaround on the most recent claim I put in, but I ended up getting my money. So I use eBay standard envelope. So that's my thoughts on that. Paul says, how was Rockford? 60-degree day was great for golf instead. It was good. It was a good show. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't a bad show. So I'll dive into that. I'm going to get through the chat here real quick, and then we can touch on the card show. eBay PWE is 60 cents. Use it. There you go. John says $200 for $150. What was the standard envelope talk on Twitter? I think so. Oh, it was somebody had like, they said they probably lost like a bunch of money. Let me go find it. Because I replied, because I actually ran my numbers and looked at it. Let's see. So somebody posted on Twitter, I must have lost 10% profit this year to eBay standard envelopes not being scanned as delivered or not being scanned at all. Refunds for everyone. Just doing calculated first class shipping from now on. So I'm like, you know what? That's like kind of, I'm not like, it's not that I don't believe them, but that's, that's crazy. So I ran my numbers for March. This is March only. So March 2023, last month, I did 2,519 orders. I only issued 8 refunds, and most of those, I got my money back on the insurance. The ones I didn't get my money back was because I didn't file the claim, because it is a little tedious. And if it's $1.50, but if it starts adding up, then I file the claim. So those were my numbers from last month. So it's like, yeah, I had to issue 8 refunds, but I got my money back on like 6 of the 8, and I did over 2,500. So, it's well worth it. Good morning, Zach and Porter in the house. Bronco says plenty of Stadium Club Chrome and Big League by me on Thursday. Bought one of each and did well. Awesome. Jody, what's happening? Make the plunge and got one on eBay for $7.95. Very cool. John says Don Caruso sounds like a mob boss. Roy Rogers hamburgers feature Kaiser rolls, only fast food with that setup, I believe. Interesting. Flying Illini. Anybody else have a 70-30 and having trouble scanning top loaders? I, for some reason, am getting warped images with the top loaders. Jenny says, I would not put a top loader through a 70-30. Yeah, I don't think 70-30s are really well equipped for top loaders. I think you're going to want a 7160 or the 8170 for top loaders. I also do not recommend penny sleeves on any of the scanners. Calculated first class shipping, that's 6 times, and the cost, yeah, that's it. It doesn't make sense. If you're doing low dollar cards, there's it's just silly to charge $4 for first class shipping. TD says, I've only issued one refund since the beginning of the year. It was a thicker card and paid the 2 ounce. Flying Illini said, I had an issue this week where a card I dropped off at USPS has been in pre-shipment for a week. Does that mean it's lost? Possibly. It could be lost. It might have been delivered. It might be stuck in transit. It's hard to tell. James, what's happening? Why don't you recommend penny sleeves? That's usually what I do. If you can find a way, here's why. Because the penny sleeves, there's two layers. Like a top loader is, I don't have a top loader next to me. A top loader is thick enough to where it's going to be, and it doesn't feel the 2 layers. But it's so easy. A penny sleeve is so flimsy that, see what this does, and there are times where it can scrunch up. The scanner will think there's 2 different items at one time. So that can happen. If you are able to successfully do it and found a way to do it, then do that. But I have not found that way. And I don't like, sometimes if I'm using like an older penny sleeve and there's like stuff on it, I want to scan the card. And I'm scanning like low dollar cards anyway. So it doesn't bother me if for whatever reason something happens, which I've never had any issues with scratches or anything. But that's why I just want to scan the card, because a lot of times people will be like, well, is this blemish on the penny sleeve or is it on the card? Let's see. John said, John is a word. Don't be afraid to use it. See, I skipped over it because I have no idea what it means. Where was your comment? Roy Rogers hamburgers feature Kaiser rolls, only fast food. Jean, is it John or Jean? John with that setup. See, I didn't know. Only fast food with that setup, I believe, is much easier to say because I don't know what the hell John means. Let's see. There, I said it. John. Let's see. Top loaders on the 70-30 does not work well, says Ed. Flying a line, I got it. Thought I just had the wrong settings. Good to know. There's a lot of USPS hubs that don't scan. I always tell the customer just to be patient. Sometimes they scan as delivered, but show up a couple days later. Here's my recommendation. If you're a seller, don't look at the tracking unless the buyer reaches out and says, hey, it's been out for delivery for a week. Then look at the tracking. But I just don't even look at it unless somebody brings it up, then look at it and talk it through. Let's see. Flying Illini, have you had it scratch Chrome cards? I have not. I've heard some people say they've had issues with scratched Chrome, but I have not. And I've scanned a lot of Chrome cards now, and I found a way, without removing the rollers, I found a way on the 8170. I just scan it. Now it takes a little longer. It doesn't feed them through. It'll go through, and then it like pops up a window, and I just hit OK, boom, next one, and it feeds, but I have to like click OK. So it slows me down a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. Red Light says, is it okay if I post my eBay store? Yes. I don't think you have the ability to post the link, but if you just want to post the name of the eBay store, go ahead. Bink Scott, what's happening? Good morning. Flying Illini says, hoping that's the case. TD was a $70 card and the purchaser has messaged me every day about it. That sucks. Let's see. Did you send it in a yellow bubble mailer? James says, what I found is the dive bars always have good burgers. Yes, those greasy spoons. Happy Easter, Harlan. What's happening? So, Rockford Card Show. Paul's getting antsy. Where's Paul? Paul, are you still with me? Rockford Card Show yesterday. It was good. It was a good show. It wasn't as so I was not at the March Rockford card show, but I was set up in January and February, and those shows were freaking amazing. Like from a selling side, I like crushed it. And they were 2 weeks. They were like there was a show in January, 2 weeks later the show in February. And I'll share my card show numbers. That's something my card show sales I'll share. Like I don't care. Other stuff, sorry, your low roller scratcher. I'm not going to share every intimate detail of my financials, but card show deals, I will. So I did over $600 each in January and February. What's up, Herman? Just caught you're just catching the beginning of card show talk. So I did over $600 selling quarter cards and a few supplies in January and in February. Now, for this show yesterday, I went in, and this is also where I learned in my vocabulary what okay means. When the promoter says, hey, how'd you do? And I'm like, okay. Because that's what every dealer says. How'd you do? Okay. You only get another reaction if they did really shitty or if they did really good. I made $6,000 because maybe the average is 1,000 or 2,000. So when I do really good, like in January, February, how'd you do? Oh my God, this was amazing. I did $650 selling quarter cards because that's not the norm. The norm is 200 to 300 on quarter cards at a monthly show, Rockford, Janesville, Madison. Now there's been some outliers, especially this year. I have well surpassed that number. Let's see, did I do January Madison? No, did not do January. I think I only did March in Madison. I did November, December, and March at Madison. So Madison, I did like almost $800 in my quarter cards in Madison last month. I did over 600 in Rockford. I did pretty crappy in Janesville last month or whenever the Janesville February, which is kind of what I expect. There's not bargain box. Like I've done 5 or 6 Janesville shows and I do about the same every time. So it's just, I need to lower my expectations on that show. So I did okay yesterday in Rockford. What does that mean? I went in, remember, I did 600 in January and February. My expectation for yesterday was 200. And you're thinking, why? Why was your goal or expectation for this show a third of what you did at the last 2? There's many reasons. The main reason was my inventory. A lot of the inventory had been seen by my regular customers. So I didn't really have much new stuff. And typically at card shows as a dealer, especially if you do the same show, you're going to get basically the same clientele. You may have a few, like every show I'll have at Rockford. And how many transactions did I do? So at Rockford, and I'll just do card because I did some supply transactions as well. So my expectation was 200. I did $198 in sales, $198 in sales. And my goal was, or my expectation was 200. So I nailed it. Like I got right where I was supposed to be. So it was okay. So I did 20 transactions total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 of the 20 were cards only. The other 8 transactions were supplies. Like I sold out I brought more top loaders. Madison last month, I brought like a tub of top loaders and like a huge thing of penny sleeves. I think I only sold like 3 or 4 packs of penny sleeves. Used to, like, I would sell like I'd bring 50 packs of penny sleeves and I'd sell all 50. So that's what I've been bringing the last 2 shows I've done. And in Madison, I sold out of my top loaders in like the first 2 hours. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to bring more. I'm going to bring a larger tub. And I sold out again. Like by noon, I was out of top loaders. So 12 of my transactions, and I think 4 or 5 of the 12, and they were bigger sales. And maybe half of my transactions on card sales yesterday were with regulars that I see at every show or every other show. And now that I think of it, one other person that's a regular was not there, but I had several regulars not at the show. And I think they were, there was a competing show in, I think Darien. There was a show in Darien, Illinois yesterday. So Darien, and I know a couple guys that regularly buy from me were in Darien. So, one guy buys like $60 worth of cards, wasn't there. Another guy buys about $30. So that's almost $100. I did see one guy who's bought full boxes from me. And he didn't stop by my table, and he's bought like 4 full boxes. So I was kind of disappointed. I should have like chased him down. Hey, buy a box. Let's see. Who else wasn't there? One of my regulars he bought $3 worth of stuff, and normally he fills a box for 20 or $30. But he's a football and basketball buyer, and I had the same stuff that I had in January and February. So he didn't have much new stuff to look through. So part of it was on me, like not bringing new inventory. Part of it was just another show in the area where my regular customers were not there. We're also getting into the time where, like Paul mentioned, he was golfing. It's warmer weather. People now have outdoor activities starting up. So now we're, January, February, March are typically like the big months of shows. Although April and May Madison show last year were really fire. And I think the April Madison show is going to be fire. I'm oversold on tables right now. I had more dealers yesterday ask me, and I'm like, I can fit you in. I might not be able to. I'm limiting people with tables. I've turned a couple down already. So the April 29th Madison card show should be a good one. But typically now is the time, and I think this is going to be the last hurrah until the fall, winter. And because by June, July, August, vacations, festivals, golf, boating, all that stuff, because we get so limited time with that fun stuff in the summer in Wisconsin. And then we'll start to see a pickup, and it's kind of like January, February, March is up here, and then it just kind of down here, and then we're May, June, July, August, September, we kind of plateau, and then October, November, December, January, February, March. That's what I've witnessed in the last 2.5 years doing regular shows at the 75 to 125 table level on a monthly basis. So I want to get to the chat. So that was my sales, met expectations. So it was okay because I went in expecting to make this. And I think as dealers, especially newer dealers or dealers that don't do as many shows, they expect to make, I made 600 in January. I made 600 in February. I should now at my next show make 600. And that's not the case because there's different variables. Other shows could impact traffic. It was a slower traffic show yesterday. There's no doubt about it. But I think that's just a sign of things to come here as the weather warms up and there's other competing activities. And that's what I always say, like to first time dealers, like go in with low expectations. Like if you expect to sell $100 worth of stuff, aim lower. Sometimes it all depends. Like you might be overpriced. You might not have prices on your things and people just walk by. You might not have what people look for. When people ask to first time dealers to my show, they're like, I've got autographed jerseys and this and that. And I'm like, it's just not a strong, I would not suggest setting up in Madison with jerseys and autographed helmets and that. There's just not much of a market for it at this show. Pokemon has grown huge at the Madison Card Show. So those are some of the things like inventory. So many factors go into it. Let's see. Where are we at? TD Sports Cards, if it's going out on the main hub, sometimes they put it in the wrong bin and it'll get delayed. I know LA, New York, and Chicago seem to always have delays, especially LA. Another bad hub is Seattle. here locally for me, it's Milwaukee. Flying Illini says, gotcha. When would you decide to put a claim in? Normally, I just waited out for a bit, but purchaser is freaking out. Thank you for all the help. I guess um, it depends on when it was shipped. When was the last timestamp on the tracking? I guess I'd have to know those details, and then I could offer some recommendations on it. Patience is key. If it was 3 days ago, I'd tell them to wait it out. But if it's been 2 weeks, I would start putting the wheels in motion of having them open a non-received claim. Let's see. It's good that there's communication though with your buyer, and he didn't just automatically open a claim. Like, I never got this. Like, communication is key. TD says I'd wait about 2 weeks or so. If they put in the wrong bin, it'll mean it'll go from one main hub to another. They'll catch it and send it back. Flying Illini says Darien show is pretty meh. Schaumburg's monthly show seems better. Yeah, I heard really good things. I haven't been to Schaumburg in almost 2 years. The Schaumburg show. I was there. It was right before the National in 2021 was the last time I set up in Schaumburg. And I did not do well. Like, I think and I had to wake up at like 4:30, or I had to wake up at 4 and be on the road at 4:30 or 5. Which is okay. I'm a morning person anyway, but I had to pay tolls, gas down to Schaumburg. I'm there all day, and basically after all that, I broke even. Pay for the tables. I think my net was like 0 after all said and done when I did it. But that was like coming out of, I think Illinois had just opened up from COVID restrictions, and it was the first show I think that Schaumburg had been back. And again, I'm a bargain box guy, so I don't know what type of clientele I would get. Like, it's one of those things where maybe I would go just to network and be a buyer, and what I sell is just kind of just gravy. I don't know. But I would like to go back there just because it's close to some friends and all that. James says, now that it's a Sunday show. So I hate Sunday shows. So I don't know. James says, I love it how the card guys at the show have an excuse for a slow show. And the thing is, like, and I overheard a couple dealers talking, and one said, I've heard some guys say they did terrible. I heard some guys say they did great. And I heard some guys say they did okay. And that's kind of a good show, right? Not everybody can have a great show. If everybody has a lousy show, that's not a good show. But if there's a mixed reaction, that's kind of how it should be. And it's like, when I set up, there was a Madison show here locally before the Madison card show started, and it was a Sunday show. It was a small, maybe 20 table show. And I think I only set up there once, and it was a slow show. And the excuse was, well, the NASCAR race is on. And I'm like, what? Like, what? So sometimes it's a reach, but there is I know there's excuses on why a show is, and on the flip side, I guess it wouldn't be an excuse, but there's reasons why a show can be great. And I think the number one reason why one show could be very popular and well attended is because there's no competition with other shows. If you get, if you start getting a bunch of shows and it starts pulling people away, because I know, like in Rockford, there was somebody mentioned the Stevens Point. I think Bronco was at Stevens Point. I know at least one of the dealers that comes to Rockford is closer to Stevens Point, so they went there. Darien, I know we lost a couple people to Darien. I know we lost customers to Darien. So I mean, it's legit. There are excuses for slow shows, but there's also reasons for great shows as well. Let's see. TD says, if you sell a lot of, plan on it. I use a 753 box. You can pick up 25 of them on eBay. I get mine from Supply Hut. Let's see. BPL, what's happening? The show I did yesterday was very good, although it was in Springfield, Massachusetts. My quarter and dollar boxes were being rated pretty good. I love that. And like for my quarter boxes, like Rockford, I do great at my quarter boxes. Yesterday was okay, but usually I do really good to great. Madison, when I'm consistently set up and bring in fresh inventory, I do great. Janesville, it's not a bargain box show, which is good for me as a buyer because I can get good bulk deals. TD Sports Cards says, any slab sold for $50 or more, I make sure to put it in a box so it doesn't get crushed in the cart. Absolutely. Yeah, I had somebody sent me, I think it was I think it was my PSA 10 or PSA 9 Ethan Roberts vintage stock. And somebody sent it in, was it in a bubble? Yeah, it was in one of the small bubble mailers, like the super small ones that the slab just fits enough in with like no protection whatsoever. Like just that flimsy little, and I'm like, oh my God. But it came intact. So I'm not going to complain. Like I got the card I ordered. I'm not going to get upset on the what if it was damaged. Let's see. Where do I set up a promotion on eBay? So go within your eBay, my eBay, and then go to your seller hub, and then go to marketing, and then go to promotions. And that's where you can set them up. Harlan says, there you go. It's under marketing in the seller hub. John says, listings, edit, check all or how many you want. Timestamp says that USPS is still awaiting the item. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Hopefully it just wasn't scanned in. And it'll pop delivered or at destination or something. That sucks. John says, promote, I do 2% and do well. eBay obviously defaults the percentage higher. Yeah, I think 10% is the default. I do dynamic, so it's a range between 5 and 10. Let's see. TD says it might just show up at the customer's door if they didn't scan it, put it into a bin. It happens. It does. And if you have an unscrupulous buyer, they can say, oh, it says it wasn't delivered. Let's see. TD says I never use eBay defaults. It's a crock. I do. And maybe it's not transparent. Maybe they are pulling one over on me, but I do get great traffic and good sales from it. Paul says the reason January through March did well was tax money, crap weather, but still able to travel. Yeah, fortunately, although the Rockford show was crap weather, like a blizzard hit, and that was like one of the best traffic shows I've seen this year. Let's see. Summer. Yep, exactly. BPL says I'm really a value seller as well as a buyer. So I buy bulk and sell cheap, make a little profit, help others get cards into their collections, which I'm going to talk about that here in a second. And my eBay sales on 80s baseball has been upticking, probably due to the start of baseball season. Oh yeah. I love it. I was telling one of the dealers, that when I'm looking at bargain boxes now, like I kind of, I'm more attracted to the junk wax stars, like in a dime box, than I am a quarter box filled with shiny Bowman tops and all that stuff, because there's a lot of it on eBay because it's new and fresh. Everybody's putting it up. Not everybody's putting up 89 tops Jose Canseco. I do want to share. So I'll share. I want to share. I get asked all the time, how do you find good deals in the bargain boxes? What do you look for? So I'm going to take you through, and I've done this before, but this is a small sample of stuff I picked out of a dollar box. I want to go through. I want to share with you what I'm looking for player wise, what type of card, like what type of money I want to outlay for said cards, where I'm looking margin wise and all that. So I'll share that. But I do want to share one of my two pickups yesterday. My buddy Steve, who, by the way, Steve is the dealer that I found the Acuna super short print out of his 25-cent box. And we still joke about that. So Steve was trying to sell me, and I at the Janesville show, he sold me a bunch of his all of his quarter boxes. And so he was trying to sell me some yesterday, and I'm like, just not interested today. So I saw he had a 5-row box of all Chicago Cubs cards, and it was a mixed box. It was like, if they're not penny sleeve, they're a nickel. If they're penny sleeve, they're a quarter. If there's a price on it, that's what the price is. And there was 17 autographed cards of Andre Dawson and Fergie Jenkins that were in person signed at the Cubs convention, I think. And they're not authenticated, but Andre Dawson and Fergie Jenkins sign a lot, and I know that they were legit. So I'm looking through and I'm like, oh, this is a cool box. And I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like eyeing, how much can I get this whole box for? So I'm kind of looking through it, and I really didn't, because they were like kind of tight. So I didn't even really spend much time looking at the other stuff. I was just looking at the autographs. And he goes, he had $15 each on those autographs, which is a pretty fair price, actually. And they were on like on card, they were in person on a regular like 84 Fleer, 83 Fleer for Fergie, 89 Tops, Dawson, whatever it was. So he's like, I'll sell you, whatever those autographs, $5 each. And I'm like, oh, that's shit. I'll buy a few of these, all of them. But I'm like, well, how much for the whole box? And he's like, man, it's just all over the price. He's like, I'll include the autos. And he's like, you're probably not going to like my price. Then I'm like, well, shoot me. Shoot me the number. And he goes, yeah, you're not going to like it. 200. And I'm like, no, actually, I like that price. That's a fair price. More than fair. Deal. So, I got the 17 Fergie and Andre Dawson autos in a 5-row box of, or 4.5 of the 5-row box was filled with cards. And I haven't even gone through them yet. So there might be some, I know there was some Sapphire, like there was my buddy Pete Crow Armstrong in there, some other stuff. So there's some good stuff in there. And he told me, he's like, you can sell these for $15. These are autographs. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't sell Cubs. I'm like, I'm super stubborn. Like I have a distinct line between my hobby and my business. Anything Cubs card wise is my hobby, is my personal hobby collection. Like that doesn't go into my business. My business, non-Cubs. So this is, for me, this is a PC pickup. This is not for resale at all. My business, anything non-Cubs, is for sale. I don't keep anything non-Cubs. I don't care what it is. I could acquire a vintage, all kinds of great Hall of Fame vintage in a collection buy or something. If it's non-Cub, I don't care. I don't want it. Or I want Ernie, Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. Don't want it. Not my PC, not my collection. Plus, it's hard to do business if you have, I like this card, I like this card, I like that card. I like Cubs. And so I know when I'm going to buy, like I'm putting out this money for my personal collection, and this is not a business expense. Let's see. So that was one of my buys. I'm going to talk about my dollar box and what I search for. Let's get through the chat real quick. Flying Illini, thank you very much for that. By the way, Hobby Evolution Facebook page, we're up to, Ryan, you're in, 148 members, 149 members. Ooh, we're only one away. Somebody join the Facebook Hobby Evolution Facebook group, and somebody be our 150th member. So there's the link again. It's also in the description. Thank you, Flying Illini. Appreciate that. BPL says a lot of collections come into my store, so it basically walks into my hands, and it's basically a treasure hunt for stars, inserts, and parallels. That's fun. Let's see. Jason says, if I get a buyer saying they don't receive an envelope from me, but tracking shows movement, I refund and block. Sometimes I do block, but sometimes it's legit. It depends on how they communicate. Sometimes I'm suspicious right off the bat based on how they communicate. I always penny sleeve my quarter box cards. I stopped doing that. So If they are already penny sleeved, I leave them penny sleeved, but I don't spend the time anymore penny sleeving my quarter boxes. And here's why. I do a fill a box. And so you can fill a 100 count box for 20 bucks. So you're getting a volume discount of about 20 cents. Now, if they're not in penny sleeves, you can fit more. So you might be able to fill more than 20 cents per card worth. You might be able to get it down to 17 cents. And I started doing that because the Dollar Box guy, Adam from the Dollar Box on YouTube, he was at one of my early shows, and he said I had penny sleeve like 30,000 quarter box cards, and he goes, "Can I take the penny sleeves off?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then he like hands me, I'm like, "Oh, you can keep the penny." He's like, "I don't want the penny sleeves." I'm like, "Oh," and I thought that was a great deal because I'm keeping the penny sleeves, but he was getting a better deal because, half a penny for a penny sleeve, and say he had 100, that's 50 cents. But he's probably getting $5, $4, $3 worth of value in the extra cards he can fit into the box. And then all of a sudden it's like, and I had that happen a couple other times. Like I can put more cards in this fill a box without penny sleeves. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to spend time penny sleeving anymore. So that's why a lot of my cards are not in penny sleeves. TD Sports Cards says, if you actually have a storefront, you can do well. It's just the overhead that can catch up if you don't sell enough new wax. Yeah, that's what actually somebody had asked me, dealer that was set up next to me. He's like, you do this full time? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, have you ever thought about opening a store? And I'm like, no. No. Actually, that's a lie. Have I? Yes. Realistically, would I consider it? No. Because of overhead. Like I can, especially the new house, I'm going to have 900 square feet of office, eBay store, and card storage, which is, a nice storefront in my basement, private storefront. So, no need to have rent and utilities, and because I started thinking about it because one of my my co-promoter in the early Madison card shows, Vince, let's get you in Hobby Evolution Facebook. Vince is in. You are the 150th member. So he told me what he was paying, and it's a decent location. And so I start running the numbers, and it's like, okay, well, I need to have this. You have to have a bathroom, so you get water, your electrical, internet. It's like, holy crap. No, don't want to do it. Don't want to deal with that. Let's see. Where are we at? Uncle Rich says $200 is fine if you sell the autograph Hall of Famers for the 200, which is a reasonable amount. The rest of cards are free for you. But I won't. That's the old school way of figuring out how to offer or buy a box. And Uncle Rich, I'm gonna dive right into that because I'm gonna explain my process. That was a PC buy, but I also did a inventory buy with PC stuff inside. So I'll get into that here in just a second. Bo scored on that box at worst break even. I know you were not going to sell those, but in those terms, you are fine. Paul says, do the extra Cubs get sold? Absolutely not. There's no extra Cubs in Bo's collection. That is correct. James says, did I hear Sapphire? Yes, Sapphire. Just joined. Thank you, Flying Illini. BPL. Oh, did we get another one? We got another one. And another one. And another one. Christopher, you're in 151 members to the Facebook Hobby Evolution Facebook page. Let's see. BPL says, I like the idea of fill a box. I may start doing a fill a team bag concept at shows. Bronco is off to American Family Field. Have a great Easter. Thank you. Today, go Brewers today. Today, I will root for the Brewers, although they're like, 6-2? Ooh. I'm going to have to start rooting against them. The Cardinals are in last place. Love to see it. Terry says, ESE tracking is only scanned at post offices. Doesn't mean the carrier ever got it. That's true. It's actually at sorting facilities is where they're scanned. So they're not even scanned at post offices. Some post offices might have the scanners, but I think a majority are scanned in the sorting facilities. Jorthax, what's happening? Curious if you ever come across random cards from the Australian Football League over there. I don't recall ever having Brian, you are in 152 members to the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. I don't recall ever having Australian Football League cards in any collection or bulk buy. Do you ever hold sealed boxes? I do. And sometimes I just hold them for a rainy day. I still have, I've got, I opened a ton for the hobby, for the Couch People Christmas party. I opened a ton. And then I actually didn't even open, I opened about half because we were just having fun hanging out on the stream. But like Christmas season, I was just ripping. And I'm glad I did because I pulled some fire. I still have a few of the 2020 Topps update, and these are the retail hobby retail hobby is, but they're the retail boxes. I've got one or two Heritage Miners from a couple years ago. I've got some blaster boxes that I just sit around. Nothing really long-term holds. It's just I like having stuff just for a rainy day. Like I'm going to rip a box. Is it worth turning on international shipping or for low-end cards while offering free shipping? So I do global, the global, the global shipping or whatever it is, because I don't want to deal with, I don't know, like international stamps and shipping. I'm sure it's easy and it would open up additional sales, but then I'd have to charge. So I just on global, it's free shipping, but the buyer pays for the shipping. So I'm still making my $1.50. They're paying, whatever the price is for that going through. Every once in a while, I'll ship to, Erlanger, Kentucky is where the global shipping goes to. It's very rare. I get a lot of international buyers, but they use ship my cards. What's the other one? There's a few different, and I'll get a lot to Portland. I think there's one. I think there's one in Delaware. Ship my cards is in I think Arizona. There's a few different that go. I think Portland is where they go to like Japan. And I think East Coast ones are maybe they might go to Japan too. I don't know. Let's see. Rich says, for what you do, there's no reason for a store. In fact, the store would tie your hands about spring training trips, card show. Oh yeah. And that's a good point because when I have a dealer that was a regular vendor at my shows. Now he doesn't do shows anymore because he's busy at his shop on Saturdays. So you're exactly right. BPL says, I collect my PC teams like Bo. I hate selling any of my duplicates of favorites. When you buy, are you tax exempt? I do have a tax number, but I never use it. I only use it for like BCW and Columbia. Oh wait, I don't use BCW anymore. Columbia Hobby. So let's talk about what I look for. So I get a common question asked when you're digging through bargain boxes, like what do you look for? Like, how do you know what a deal is? So I did spend a little time at 5 Star Cards, which they're a sponsor of the Madison Card Show. They sponsor the Rockford Card Show. And he had, when he first started doing dollar boxes, they were fire. But then he wasn't putting new stuff in. I'm like, Matt, you got to put new stuff in. I've gone through these boxes. So I haven't even looked in a couple months. So it was a little slow. Like my sales are in the morning, like the first 2-3 hours. And then by noon, I don't have anybody shopping my table. So it gives me time to shop. So I went out and I was talking to Matt and I'm like, have you put new stuff in your dollar boxes lately? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, stuff you haven't, it's been a while. So there's going to be stuff in here you haven't seen. So I start flipping through and he has a lot of 2017 Bowman and there's color in there, but it's, not something I'd spend $1 on. And again, when I approach a dollar box, I expect to pay $1 a card. Okay. And I think that's where we get caught up in, we want volume discounts and how cheap can we get these cards? I assume I'm paying $1 per card. So that's how I'm I'm doing it. Sometimes if I see enough, I'll add, like, what type of discount can I get? Can I get it down to 25 cents a card, 50 cents a card, 75 cents a card? Because if I can get it at 50 cents a card, I'll buy more. If I get it to 75 cents a card, I'm going to be more picky, and I'm going to cherry pick these cards. So, but I go in with the expectation it's $1 box. I'm going to pay $1 per card. So I went through and I picked out, and I actually forgot I was digging through and almost forgot. And he's like, "Hey, did you set some cards aside?" Because I'd pulled 9 cards, and there's somebody at my table, so I put them back behind the boxes, and then I forgot about them, and I'm like loading out, and he goes, "Oh, hey, did you put some cards aside?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I put them right here." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I put them away. I thought you might have." So he ended up giving me a good deal. I got 9 cards total. And he charged me $5. So that's 55 cents a card. So great deal. What was I looking for in these boxes? So I passed on a lot of the Bowman. I don't think I bought any Bowman. Well, there's one, but it's serial numbered. So the first card I pulled, I didn't find anything, and I passed up a couple cards because like I don't want to just buy 1 or 2 cards. So I kept looking, and I found a nice little run of cards that I might consider buying. So one it's Panini Prism, 2017 George Brett. Shine. I don't even know what the hell these are called. I'm going to have to Google it. It is numbered to 99. George Brett is a big seller on eBay. So George Brett, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson, those are junk wax guys that sell really well on eBay. And especially like newer stuff, if it's serial numbered, I think I could probably put a $5 buy it now on eBay for this George Brett card, and it'll probably sell in 24 hours. So, hey, I'll report tomorrow. I'll put this on after the show, and we'll report back. Did I get any offers? Did it sell? Whatnot. So, paid 55 cents for it. I think I'll get $5 gross on eBay. This one I think I'll get even more. So why did I pull this? Well, because it's George Brett. I know George Brett sells really well on eBay. And it's serial numbered. It's one of those fancy. I think this will be a chase for George Brett collectors. It is serial numbered out of 99. This is a no-brainer. Even at $1, I would have paid $1 for this. I got it discount 55 cents. Anthony Volpe, kind of a no-brainer. Hot prospects that are just making their debut. Anthony Volpe, Jordan Walker, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, some of those young guys. No-brainers on an insert like this. This is from Heritage Miners in 2020. It's an insert to scratch off. I'm like, for $1, I'm going to buy this for $1, end up with a discount, 55 cents. I just actually looked this up this morning before the show. I'm going to put a $7.50 price tag on this. It'll probably sell at full price on eBay, and it'll probably move within the next 24 hours along with the George Brett. So there's, in gross sales, I'm looking at probably $12.50. I paid $5 for all 9 cards. Here's another one that I'll probably put a $5 price tag on. It's a Lance McCullers Houston Astros. It's numbered out of 25. It's the camo from 2017 Topps Series 1 camo, numbered out of 25. Again, at $1, I'm buying this card. I get it for 55 cents. So there were some like serial numbered out of 99, 199. Those are probably going to be $2 to $3 on eBay. If I'm buying it, again, I'm thinking I'm going to pay $1 for this. I'm probably going to steer clear, but anything under, if it's 75, I did pass on a card that was, I think, numbered out of 69 or something. But numbered out of 25, I feel like that's a no-brainer. This one was more of a gamble. This one might be a $5 card. It might only be a $2.50 card, but this is where I kind of stick my neck out. I know with these first 3 cards, I'm going to probably make a profit already. So this is more of a speculative play. First Bowman Chrome, especially of guys in the top 100. I don't know if Brady House is in the top 100. I think he is. He's got a lot of hype around him. This is a first Chrome. Now, a paper, I would not pay $1 or probably even 50 cents for. But a first Chrome, I will, because this might be, and I don't know. I didn't look this card up. I also don't comp at bargain boxes. I just I'll take a gamble. especially if it's a quarter box. A dollar box, I might, there might be times when I've been sitting at the singles club at the National, I've comped a few cards. This is 2021. We're just going to look this up on eBay. 2021 BDC 186. And we'll see where these, we want to go to sold. Brady House First Bowman Chrome. We don't want refractors. So this one sold at auction for $285. And that's kind of, and again, that's auction. So I can probably put $350 or $4. This one sold. Oh, that's a refractor. That's a refractor. See, get a lot of refractors. Here's a base chrome, $3. This was a buy it now. So there you go. $3, $3.50. So at $1, the margin would have been slim. It's a little better with 55 cents on the cost of goods. So this was a good buy. Here's one, and these are kind of crapshoots. Because it might be a $5 to $10 card, but it also might be a $2 card. This is a Bowman Scouts Top 100 from 2020, Jesus Sanchez, where he was in the top 100. I don't think he is anymore. This is a atomic refractor out of 150. So this is another one I didn't comp. I won't comp this because it's going to be tougher to find. But this probably, I'm saying probably $3. I'll put $3 on this. And that's probably around where the comp is. Again, it's kind of a smaller margin, but those add up. Something else I'm looking for in bargain boxes, especially dollar boxes, dollar autographs. Now, they've got to be like Topps or Bowman autographs in uniforms. Well, if it's Heritage Miners or Topps Pro Debut for $1, I'll probably buy it. There were a few autos. A lot of them were like Elite Extra Edition. They were older, so they're basically dollar cards. Like if an Elite Extra Edition from a guy that's out of baseball, I'd pull it out of a quarter box, but I'm probably putting it in my store for $1.50 or $2. So I don't really want to pay a quarter for it. But for a Topps Big League auto, not a Topps Big League product, but a Topps Major League Baseball card auto, I'll pull some out at $1. This is a Cardinal. Cardinals have a good collector base. This is from 2010. It's Adam Ottavino. Topps update autograph. So for $1 with my discount, I got it down to 55 cents. I'll probably put this in my store, maybe $5, maybe $3.50. But I think I can get for a big league autograph like this. I think your range is in the $3 to $5 range. So even if you're paying $1, I think it's an okay buy. Obviously, one of the junk wax guys that's a good seller. I think it goes without saying, guys like Bo Jackson and this guy, Ken Griffey Jr., are good buys depending on the price. This is a Panini product from Chronicles, not a great product, but it is serial numbered. It's out of 199. So I think anytime you can find a lower serial number of Ken Griffey Jr. type player, it's a great buy at $1, even better at 55 cents. This is probably going to, under $5 in my eBay store, but I think it'll still sell fairly fast, and I'll definitely make a profit over my 55 cents cost of goods. Now, my cost of goods is actually going to go up to 71 cents because those 7 cards are inventory. The final 2 cards are part of my personal collection. So this one was actually right at the top. Purple Chrome rookie of my buddy Ethan Roberts. So I got that for 55 cents. And again, Cubs auto, Josh Vitters at one time was their top prospect. I would have paid $1 for this all day long. So, but I got it for 55 cents. So I basically paid $1 for those 2 cards. And based on the first 7, I'll make a profit. I'll pay for those 2 Cubs cards and make a profit on top of it. So those are some of the things I'm looking for in dollar boxes. And you can kind of attach the same buying principles to quarter boxes and just kind of scale it, back. What's your margin going to be? What do I expect to make out of a dollar box? Sometimes I expect if I know it's going to sell fast at $2.50 and I, maybe I pay $1 or 75 cents for it. I may only make 25 cents net profit, but it's going to be a quick flip. And maybe that person that buys it for $2.50. Maybe they buy other cards in my store. Maybe it brings in customers that want to, shop my store, and, maybe they're a Ken Griffey Jr. collector. They buy that and they find, other cards that have been sitting in my store for a longer period of time. That's another, aspect that I consider when I'm pulling some of these that may have lower margins. Let's see. Bing says Tink Hence for the Peoria Chiefs had a great outing, looked sharp, was going to pull some of him and list on eBay. Tink Hence has been selling. I've been moving a lot of Tink Hence cards. Jordan Walker, can't keep him in my store. James says $3 to $4. I think he was talking about the Brady House. Yeah, $3 to $4 on Brady House. So not a bad deal at all. So Rockford Card Show. Traffic was down over the last couple months, but I think that's to be expected, and that's to be expected over the next few months. I would say for monthly card shows, my sales were okay. I made what I expected to make. I went in with somewhat lowered expectations over what I did in January and February. I was not at the March show. I was at spring training. But I think if there was not a competing card show in the suburbs, I probably would have exceeded my expectations for the day. So that's what I had for today. Overall, good show. My next show, I'll be set up in Janesville. That's coming up on Sunday, April 23rd. I'm taking next week off. So April 23rd, Sunday, I'll be at the Janesville show. I'm probably going to go in with lower expectations. I'm probably targeting $150 in sales for that show. But hopefully I can find some good buys. Thank you, Herman. By the way, check out Herman's Twitter, 3B Collection. He met Dale Murphy last night. That was freaking awesome. So great weekend for Herman. So yeah, I'll be set up Sunday, April 23rd, Janesville, and then the Madison Card Show the following weekend, Saturday, April 29th. Sold out show already, 125 tables. I'll be set up. I'll bring my bargain boxes to Madison on April 29th. So have a great Sunday. I'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit up the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. We're at 152 members now. 152 members in the Hobby Evolution Facebook page. We've got some great discussion going on over there, so check that out. Link is also in the description. Link to my eBay store also in the description. Buy 7 or more at regular price, and you'll receive an automatic 25% off at checkout. So have a great Easter, have a great Sunday, and we'll see you tomorrow.